Hi guys. Today we're going to start by doing, I guess, a few missions, fighting plans. You may have noticed I've updated the Wolverine look a bit, just added some shoulder pads. Essentially, since last time, I did a bit of exhibit farming, and I did sell a couple of items to the broker. Essentially, I had like a handful of items that I could sell, but uh, about half of those were you could only get like $50 from the broker. So I sold them to the vendor for like $100 instead. And there's two of them that I did put up for sale. One sold for $1,000. The other one is still in the broker and hopefully will sell for $1,000. If not, well, we won't have lost much. At least we made $1,000 so far, which is about 10 times what the vendor would have given us anyways. So even if, let's say, even if the second item doesn't manage to sell, we still made more like $800 more than just selling it to the broker, to the vendor. And still, we can still sell the other item to the vendor if it doesn't sell at $1,000, or we could try to sell it for $500. I'll play by ear when the time comes. So, and I gathered a bit of exobits, not much, just enough so that I'll have enough to change change my mods in a few pieces if I need to. So let's go talk to our friend Robin to get the
Hey,
thing started.
Batman's analyzing the new Joker toxin, so it's up to you and me to take down Poison Ivy and her plants in Burnley. I'll tell you what, I'll even lend you my nose breather against her spores. I should be immune to Ivy by now.
Robin is so sweet. He's lending us his nose breather.
First Scarecrow broke out of Arkham, and now Poison Ivy's on the loose. I don't like it. While Robin investigates, I'm relying on you to handle the mess outside. After your past experiences, I'm sure you can handle it.
Also, I bought a handful of styles. I went to the Watchtower and spent a bit of money to buy some extra styles to maybe play around with the style, the look of our Wolverine at some point. And odds are, I'll probably add at least one, if not two more armories. I usually will try
There
to
are
have
people inside those
about four
cocoons.
armories
Better not fall into
for a
Ivy's web like
character.
pod people.
I do
You
have
can't let her
characters that only
swarm
have
around me. Break
one or
him
two
free.
armories. In some cases, uh, in some case, one armory seems fine for now, and in some other cases, two armories. At least once you have two armories, you can either uh, you can have one armory for DPS and one armory for your role.
Yours
So
will
usually,
feast.
for most players, just that
Stay
will
away
be
from
enough.
Ivy's creations.
But what I will try to do sometimes is that I will try to have
These
one
spores
armory
will feast.
for DPS, one armory for troll, that's for PvE, and then I will try to have one armory for, let's say, DPS and PvP. And at some point, I would try to have one armory for DPS, for troll and PvP also. But the thing is, doing PvP as a troll, especially if you do like one versus one or two versus two PvP, not the best idea. The best option is to just stick to DPS. Uh, the reason why is that in the past, a couple of years ago, I would do fine with my controller in PvP because I had a lot of survivability. My shields would protect me So as I was cycling through my shields, as I was cycling through my on my various healings, either my potions or my supply drops, or even my supercharge. Like I have a supercharge that would give me health. So as I would, but depending on the case, I might go with Bastion. It was a I would play by ear sometime. So essentially, I had enough survivability as a controller that I could survive through a DPS, giving me everything he got. But sadly, at some point, they did make changes where the shields wouldn't protect you as much. And also, as the game progressed, the DPSs have been doing more and more damage. So
It is something about
shields
converting me
became
into one of
almost
them.
useless
Snapping plants
because
wanted
they
to wrap
weakened the
me up for
shields.
good.
So the DPS would pretty much burn through your shield in no time, as if it wasn't even there. Uh, that may have changed since I haven't tried as a controller in a while, but the last time I did try it, the problem was that the controller didn't have enough survivability in PvP. So you would die a lot. So at some point it became pretty obvious that the best option was to stick to doing DPS and PvP, especially in 1v1 matches.
Those snapping plants wanted to wrap me up for good.
So what I started doing instead,
It is
I still
something about
usually go
converting me into one of them.
for 4 armories. But what I'll do is that I'll have 1 armory for DPS, 1 armory for controller, then I'll have 1 armory for PvP as a DPS, and I'll have 1 armory PvP for the open world. Because sadly, I think I've shown you like not that long ago that the PvP equipment or some of the PvP equipment doesn't work in the PvP open world. Like the colas. The PvP colas do not work in the PvP open world. So what you end up doing
I think it wanted to transform
is that either you wear your PvP gear but decide that you're not going to use colas, or you make yourself an armory for the express purpose of being able to use colas in the open world wearing your PvP gear. So essentially, you end up needing 2 PvP gear, one for the arenas, and 2 PvP armories. Sorry, you end up needing 1 PvP armory for arenas and 1 PvP armory for the open world. So in your open world loadout, essentially you'll use obviously the PvE colas,
Those snapping
but also you
plants
can
wanted to
have your
wrap me up for
utility
good.
belt and use various things like backup or sidekicks in the open world. Because also the PvE equipment doesn't work in
Could you
PvP.
possibly get me some shed leaves from those pod people? I'm doing research.
So if you wear your utility belt in PvP, it's not going to work. So you pretty much have to have 1 armory for each, unless of course you don't play in the PvP open world. If you don't, then that's no problem.
These spores will feast.
It is something about converting me into one of them. Wrap me up for good. Into one of them.
Away from Ivy's
So at some
cave.
point I'll probably add 2 more armories to our Wolverine. I'll probably add one for arena with PvP gear and one for the open world. We'll play it by ear, I guess.
Join us or die.
So I'll probably need at least 2 more looks. You can have up to 16 armories with is it 16? Yeah, 16 armories
Join us or be
with a single
fertilizer.
character. Uh, I'm not sure if that's really useful. Although you can easily make various builds. That's the nice thing about the armories. You can have various build. You like
Join us or
essentially I
die.
have a Magneto character that has a controller build for when I'm in a group, and I have a controller build for when I play solo. The reason why I have a controller build to play solo as opposed to just having just playing DPS when I play solo. Sometimes I'll switch to DPS to play solo, but the
These
thing with that is
spores
that
will feast.
usually I will gather the gear I need for my role first. So often I yes I can switch to DPS, but I'll usually end up being DPS with controller gear, which is not as effective. And in some cases, it's almost better to remain a controller, either because you'll have a better crowd control,
Join us or be fertilizer.
or you'll be able to use your debuffs or some such things. Uh, because as a DPS with controller gear, you will not burn quite as much as if you had DPS gear, and also DPS mods. That's another thing. Like what I used to do for a while was that uh, I would have one controller gear and one DPS gear. But in my DPS gear, I would put
Poison Ivy used to be a
prefabricated
botanist
mods.
before she went bonkers and
You can
decided
buy
to
those in the
reclaim the world for the
Watchtower.
plants. If we don't get her back to
Sadly,
Arkham, Gotham
they've
really will be an
increased
urban
the price of
jungle.
those. You could say. So it's a lot more expensive to get those
Ivy's
prefab
expanded
mods
on her
than
usual
it used to be.
artistry. This time, she's created pheromone-blasting plants to lure
And
in citizens,
gathering
so
exhibits
her roaming
is
Venus
time
life rats
consuming.
can
And as you
devour them.
noticed, I have
Gotham's making
at
looks
least quite a few
academy.
characters. So gathering exhibits to craft mods for all of those, it's not an option. It won't happen.
These spores will feast.
What? Where am I? Okay, that was weird. Thanks.
So the nice thing with prefab mods is that you could buy some fairly cheap ones. Like if you were at endgame, like at T6,
Will
at endgame content, like around T6,
That
you could still buy
is
like a
crazy.
Type
I
3
couldn't stop.
mods and still be fine. It would at least give you a bit of an extra boost in stats, and it would give you the socket affinity bonuses. Sadly now they made those mods a lot more expensive, so getting them is not really an option anymore.
Leaves for now. My arms. Thank goodness you broke me out of that cocoon. That smell. I couldn't break away.
That
Thanks.
So in the past, I used to be able to have a controller gear and a DPS gear.
Can you
There were a
help
few
me?
missions
I
that
need
made
silk
that
spinners from
fairly
those walking
easy
fly
to
traps,
accomplish.
but I can't get close enough.
But now the way
I'm
things
sure there
work,
might be
it's way too much work to get one of
special
each.
prize unit in the
So I'll
East
stick
End.
with whatever gear has the most combat rating. Sadly, that's usually my role gear because that's what I
Smells
upgrade
like
first,
brain squash.
and also
Thanks.
that's the gear
I need
I
to go
will put the
shower.
mods on.
Holy brain squash. Hey,
But my gear will have controller mods, so my gear will have vitalization mods as opposed to precision mods.
I can feel Ivy leaves crawling my arms. Get me out. Thank goodness you broke me out of that cocoon.
So if I do a DPS, even if I have DPS gear, or even if I DPS with my controller gear, I'll have at least like
Oh,
a
wow.
thousand
Thanks for
precision
snapping me out of
less
that.
was
Bye.
crazy.
than I would. So it often makes more sense to stick to being a controller, even if in some cases it might be better to be a DPS. It's all a case by case basis. Essentially, once my character reaches higher levels, it'll make more sense. Yeah, you'll see. Essentially, the latest changes made it more difficult to have alternate characters.
It's changing me. I can feel it. Go shower.
Because before you could buy, like as I said, Type 3 exobits for, let's say, 125 marks of triumph. Which may seem like a lot, but like more like Type 4 gears, Type 4 mods were like 600 and something, 650 marks of triumph, I think, or around that mark.
This is Ivy's world.
Calling
Join
to
us
me.
or die.
And the more expensive ones would be like 3 or 4,000 marks of triumph at the time. So if you didn't want to spend thousands, a few thousand mark of triumph on your on a mod, you could buy Type 3 mod, and it was more than fine to do the job. But now every single mods, prefabricated mods cost the very same thing. They all cost 5 marks of triumph. So it makes no sense now to buy a Type 3 mod if you can buy a Type 6 mod, because both will be the same price, the exact same price. So you no longer can tell yourself, okay, I'll buy the less expensive one. There's no such thing anymore. So putting mods in your gear, in your let's say in your DPS gear, it's a lot more expensive than it used to be. So usually I'll stick to just modding my roll gear, like my controller gear.
You'll never defeat the plants. You'll never stop.
So game update 47 really did hurt those of us who liked to have multiple characters. I'm not sure if that was the intent, but that's the result we got.
Join us or be fertilized away from Ivy's creations. We are one with nature.
Later down the line, I'll probably have various videos
Those snapping plants
about certain specific parts of the game. Like I'll probably start to make at some point some weapon videos. Essentially, I'll make like a video about the shield weapon and how the various combos work. Or in this case, I'll make one with the martial arts and how the various combo work for that. It's something that I'm planning down that I have in the pipeline that I'm planning for. I'm just not sure when I'll do those.
Holy spring squash. I had leaves sprouting from my arm, but I gotta get out of here.
Forensic toxicology report. The toxins in this rose.
And I'll try to
cause
make a few
immediate
videos about the various
paralysis.
roles and also the various powers. I don't have characters with all the powers, like I don't have a nature character yet. I may make one at some point. We'll have to wait and see. I'll play it by ear, I guess. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm trying to find my next. Oh, there it is.
Calculation completed.
Who? Oh, wow. Thanks for snapping me out of that. Bye.
These spores will feast!
Smells like heaven. Ivy.
Okay, now I need some Venus flytrap. Ah, it disappeared. I'm not sure why it does that. Sometimes they'll spawn and then they'll just disappear and then they'll respawn a bit later. Probably has to do with the various phases the game has.
Disgusting! Ah!
Okay, I'll need 2 more. There's 1.
What are you doing? No!
You'll never stop poison ivy. Join us or be fertilizer.
As you can see, these little buggers can be annoying. So the grappling hook to get away from them is pretty useful. But as you can see, okay, it took I had to go quite high to finally lose the aggro, essentially to have them stop attacking me. Here's our last fly trap. Okay, and there we're done. Come on. The drawback with Acrobat is that any ledge, any little any little detail in the building can sometimes keep you from going forward. Like there's a ledge that could stop you, prevent you from going forward, or there's a window or something like that, or a column. So that's a red one. That's a red one. So see if you carry a bit of crafting material on yourself, halfway through a mission you can decide to do some crafting if you need to, assuming that you have the portable workstation. As I mentioned before, it's not that useful, but it's a nice thing to have when you need to. Especially if you have a small inventory space. If you didn't buy any extra inventory space in your inventory, it can fill up pretty quick sometimes with all the junk that you get from DC Universe.
Poison Ivy's pheromones can make anyone fall in love with her. Usually it's only at close range. These distance attacks are something dangerously new.
I'm not sure why we still have there's a mission with the gardens where that's for some reason when the first time you get it, you can't really complete it. You have to do a couple of extra other missions and then come back to finish it. I'm not sure why
Stay
exactly.
away from Ivy's creations. This is Ivy's world. Join us or die.
Scanning.
We You'll never defeat the plants. This is Ivy's world. Join us or die.
It may seem evil to burn those poor thorn people, but it's necessary.
Stay away from Ivy's creation.
Okay, so we're done now. Not sure why. For some reason, we cannot. The first time we're here, we cannot really complete the mission. We have to go do a couple of the other missions and then come back here to finish it. I can't really explain why because I don't really know. But once you know, you just do that, and usually does the trick. And it completed itself. So let's select the next missions in the chain. Essentially, we got a minigun that we can't use, but we'll be able to sell it probably for a few bucks. So, collection we got earlier.
Enough mind left to attack, but just barely.
Another collection. If you guys hate weeds, you're gonna love these missions because we see a lot of weeds, a lot of plant people that needs to be taken down.
Hey, can you grab some of those seed pods? We need to determine health effect.
So again, here we have a handful of missions, but also there's a mission we can take here where this little hazmat guy asks us for seed pods. If you see on the left, right next to the Venus flytrap, that's where the seed is. It's a pretty big thing, and it's well identified as a quest item, and it's easy to break, sadly. So it got broken in the fight. So it's usually a well identified quest item. You just have not to break it, I guess.
Goodness, you're kidding! I can feel myself being digested! Ow, so gross!
So essentially, you take the seed and bring it to the truck. So here in we go.
Oh no!
Ivy's love is strength. You'll never
2 more seeds and we're done with the seeds.
One will fall, many will rise, will rise.
Dinner. I'm losing it for sure.
And there we go. As you can see, the mission completed itself. And we got a pair of pants, which aren't really better than what we have. So I won't bother to change pants.
Oh, thank you. Look at my clothes.
These big guys are pretty tough. The Roanoaks. I guess fire was too much for it. Oh, we see a green dot. Let's use the. Let's take that.
Forensic toxicology report. The petals of this flower are teeming with potent pheromones.
Strength.
Thank goodness you came. I could feel myself being digested. Ow, so gross.
Scanning.
Ivy's power is nature itself.
I felt like I was something's dinner. I'm losing it for sure.
Ivy's power is
thank
nature
you,
itself.
Ah, look at my clothes! They're ruined! How dare they use me for food?
My life belongs to Poison Ivy.
Oh man, I've never been food before. I'll never
We
use
are one with nature.
later.
Just one more spore cannon, and we're going to be able to continue the next part of the quest.
I stink of bile.
This is Ivy's world.
Just ain't right.
Join us or die.
I don't know if you see those two guys over here. Essentially what happens is that if you don't kill them as soon as possible, they merge together and they form this big guy. So ideally you want to defeat them before they merge together.
Poison Ivy.
That was a pretty neat idea they had at this point. As you play the game, you'll see lots of neat little ideas like that.
GCPD radio says that Harvey Bullock went into Ivy's greenhouse to try and shut this down. Since
Don't let anything you see inside that greenhouse stop you. Knowing Poison Ivy, she's
So now we have to go into the greenhouse. Oh, we have a little dot here.
Influence, and they can help you take her down, so she can serve her time at Arkham.
Forensic toxicology.
I'd like to say hello
report.
to the person who just
One prick from
joined
this
us.
rose and we'd need to call the coroner.
Essentially, I'm not seeing the comments, so I have the game full screen, and I'm not sure how to switch from full screen to seeing the comments while I'm recording. So you'll forgive me if you ever put in a comment, I'll probably won't see it. But if you ever want to see what you missed, I'll put up the video on YouTube later on. So the next step of the mission is to go inside the greenhouse and to fight. Why can't I go in? Okay, somehow the hold button doesn't work. Ah, crap.
Don't let anything you see inside that greenhouse stop you.
Okay, now it worked. For some reason, because I didn't have the quest tracker selected, I couldn't enter. Don't ask why. The UI. Sadly, the UI does need some work, but it won't happen.
You just saved the life of a GCPD officer.
UI, for those who don't speak, lead speak, it's user interface.
Hey you, over here! I'm Bullock with the GCPD. I'm trapped. I need your help. Call for backup.
Essentially, DC Universe Online wanted to change the interface a couple of times. At some point, they were supposed to have a new interface for when the PS4 went live, but they scrapped those plans. Then at some point they worked on they did some more work for a new interface, and that was scrapped as well. At first it was put on hold, and last we heard it was pretty much cancelled. So maybe at some point in time we'll have a new user interface. It just won't be not yet. We have no idea at this point what the holdup is. The last info we got was that essentially they needed resources elsewhere, and we sort of knew they were working on a Xbox port for the game, probably a Xbox One port. So that working on the Xbox One port pretty much took priority, so the interface was shelved. And now, last we heard, it was pretty much cancelled. Well, let's pick up a nut. And let's get nuts. Oh yeah.
These spores will feast.
For the new user interface, I'm of a mixed mind about that. The game does need a new interface. Sometimes the menu lag. But the last thing we saw from the interface that we're working on, holy crap, that was not good. It was a very generic interface.
You just saved the life of a GCPD officer.
I guess on one hand, I guess it's a choice between doing something that's pretty or prettier and doing something that's more streamlined and that doesn't eat up as much resources. So I can appreciate that they were trying to streamline probably the interface so that it wouldn't be it wouldn't consume as much resources as we played the game. But holy crap, it didn't look pretty.
Plants will flourish over Gotham. I would have been plant food if it weren't for you. You just saved the life of a GCPD officer. Thank you.
Forensic toxicology
Yeah,
report.
we're here.
You just
Leave it
saved
to
the life
Ivy
of a
to stick with the
GCPD
classics.
So I guess this was the sixth. Oh,
This thing.
we completed 100 missions. Oh, we have a new back piece, so let's equip that. And we have some new pants. They're not, they're pretty much similar to the ones we have, but as you can see, we don't have the Retrotech style collected. It says not collected, so we are going to collect it. And there we go. We still have, yeah, we still can make one more mod, so why not? If we can do it, why not? I was just making sure that everything was fine. So let's continue. As I mentioned before in some other videos, if you don't mod right away, it's not a big deal. Especially this early on with those alpha mods, you'll lose barely just a couple of stat points. It's not that much. As you saw, I rescued the police officer just force of habit. At this point, I don't need to. Oh yeah. Now Wolverine can let loose on those plants, people. I usually try not to miss any opportunity to break a barrel, just for the feeds. I could probably just buy the feed from my other characters. I'll probably do that around tier 4, tier 5. Probably around tier 5. I'll buy some feeds.
Food if it weren't for you.
Just trying to show the progression without buying any of the feeds. As if I had like a fresh new character.
We'll feast.
As you go along, never hesitate to backtrack to go get sometimes a healing barrel. Some of those barrels, crap, I destroyed all of them. Some of those barrels usually respawn pretty quick, so you should be able to get one. Especially with some of the harder boss fights, sometimes you'll hit a fight and you'll be like, oh, Oh, that's something new. Didn't realize they respawn. Essentially, sometimes you'll hit a fight with a boss fight that can be tough on certain characters. So never hesitate to go back and get yourself a healing barrel. Although in this case, somehow it respawned the big guys.
Robin, my
Holy
darling,
crap!
take care of this pesky
These are
worm before it takes
pretty
over
poison
my
ivy.
beautiful garden.
Yes, Ivy.
Can you blame Robin for being under her charms? Robin doesn't seem like it, but he's a tough little bugger. I'll give you a run for your money.
So much pent-up aggression.
Check it!
Robin, you're drooping.
Oh,
Rest.
we're done with
One of my
Robin.
guardians finishes off this nest.
Let's. Oh yeah.
Bug.
As you saw, there was a barrel next to the plant creature. Ideally, you want to destroy the barrel before the plant creature uses it.
You do know crime doesn't pay.
And of course, while you're fighting Robin, Poison Ivy is cheating and attacking you as well. Somehow we cannot attack Poison Ivy. At least I don't think we can.
You're in
I
my...
haven't tried it a while. Nah. So we have to defeat Robin to get to the next part of the fight.
Robin, such a disappointment. As always, my plants to the rescue. Grow, my lovely, and devour this intruder.
Her lovely is pretty big.
Die.
So we're going to call our robot friends. Or did we? Oh, yeah. And let's use a barrel, no reason not to. Let's use a barrel here.
Lead for me.
Unless you're saving the barrel for a specific moment in the fight, there's no use not to. There's no reason not to use it. But sometimes you'll want to save it for Sometimes you know that at a certain point in the fight, the boss will summon a bunch of his friends, or so you may decide to not to use the barrel too early, but to wait for the friends to spawn before using it.
My jaw will be sore for a week. Guess it serves me right for losing my nose breather. Alright, I gotta get Ivy back to Arkham Asylum. You get back on the streets.
And we got a few more feeds and a little chest here. Another barrel here. And that's pretty much it for here. Let's see if we need, we need to complete the mission. Oh yeah, level 20.
Poison Ivy back to Arkham. You get back on the streets. Gotham needs you.
So we have to go back to the police station, but before we do that, you'll notice like we couldn't use those plans before. But now that we're level 20, we can use those plans. So I guess you can expect that we're going to change all of our mods for the beta mods. Like right now we have the alpha mods, but the beta mods will give us a bit of a boost. So in between videos, I'll probably replace all the mods. for better mods. So let's go see our friend Robin to the police station. Come on. I'm not sure if you've noticed, we have our friend Solomon Grundy right here. He's one of the bounties for the heroes, and he's pretty tough, especially at this level. At this level, I can pretty much guarantee I wouldn't be able to take him out. So I won't try.
Batman's taking Ivy to Arkham. You know, he didn't even chew me out. Somehow that's worse. Anyway, thanks for your help.
We've got an emergency. The Green Lantern Corps' power rings have been acting strangely, and they've traced the problem back to Earth. Problem is, so has the Sinestro Corps. They're throwing down in the historic district. Talk to the recruiter in the police station there for more.
So our next mission will be in Metropolis. But we'll probably go to our base first to essentially replace all of our mods and probably reimprint also our armories now that we have some new equipment. And as you can see, like the shoulders aren't much better than what we have already, but we don't have the style, the anti-freeze style. So let's use, oh, and we got collected 25, we connected all the styles in the anti-freeze style. So that's nice. Let's go look let's go see what it looks like. I'm not sure. So we will end the video for now. So next time we'll start with probably fighting some green lanterns, or some yellow lanterns, I mean, and helping out our Green Lantern friends. So I'm going to post this video on YouTube later on. So if somehow you want to watch it or watch whatever you missed, it'll be there. And that will be it for now. So I'll wish you a good day, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.